Recording in progress.
Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Tuesday, May 28th meeting of the St. Joseph County Board of Commissioners. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No. Thank you. First order of business is the St. Joseph County Highway Annual Materials Bid.
Good morning, Sky Meadows, Department of Infrastructure Planning and Growth, offices on the 7th and 11th floor of the County City Building. What we have are the annual bids that we have for various materials throughout the county. What we typically have done is I don't go through each bid and read the amounts because there's so many different scenarios. And also, what I will do is go through and read who submitted for what. But typically the way we award these is we typically, as long as the bids are complete, award it to everyone that's submitted, and then we give priority based on who submitted the lowest bid when we order. If we order, say, bituminous and the lowest bidder for the unit price isn't available, we move to the next one. So with that, I'll read who submitted bids on which certain category.
Sky, should we ask if anybody else here?
Yeah, we probably should. Is anyone wanting to submit bids that haven't already? D? Okay.
Just to make sure.
Yeah, no, thank you. I forgot that this time. First off, we have the 2024 bituminous patching material. We received bids from Central Paving, Reith Riley Construction Company, and Milestone Contractors. Item 2 was the 2024 fuel, oil, lubricants, and miscellaneous materials. We received bids from Petroleum Traders Corporation, Sunoco LLC, Pinkerton Oil Company, and Keystone Cooperative. Number 3, we received bids for the 2024 liquid bituminous materials. We received bids from Asphalt Materials, Inc. and the Clink Group. Number 4, 2024 miscellaneous aggregates. We received bids from Reith Riley Construction Company, the Clink Group, and IMI. Number 5 was the 2024 guardrail materials, and no bids were submitted for that. And number 6 was 2024 traffic paint and signage materials. We received bids from Ennis Flint, All States Coating Company, and Sherwin-Williams. We would ask that the commissioners accept these bids for turning them over to engineering for review and award.
Any questions? If not, do we have a motion to turn the bids over to the Highway Department for review?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Hazen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion
And
carries.
I'd like to thank Jane for getting everything together in a nice order that made it very easy for me, so thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Applause.
Moving on to our accounts payable docket. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Hazen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, awarding of the key to the county to Chief Tim Schabel. And before you come up, got a little something to read here. Chief Schabel began his career in fire service 4 days after graduating high school. He joined Clay's Fire Department in 1989. He was promoted to fire chief in 97 and is the longest tenured chief officer in the agency's 75-year history. Under Tim's leadership, Clay Fire became the first internationally accredited fire department in the state of Indiana. He is also credited with modernizing the fire and EMS delivery model in St. Joseph County. Chief Schabel led the agency's transition in 2001 from Clay Township Fire Department to Clay Fire Territory, which united Clay Township, the town of Indian Village, and the town of Roseland. He later led the expansion of Clay Fire to German Township in 2007 and Harris Township in 2010. In addition to the key to the county, Tim was presented with the Sagamore of the Wabash Award. This is the highest honor the governor of Indiana can bestow on an individual. It is presented to distinguished citizens who have made significant contributions to the state of Indiana. He is also the first recipient of the Fire Chief of the Year Award by the Indiana Fire Chiefs Association. Tim also received the 2008 Gary Breeze Safety Performance Award from the International Association of Fire Chiefs, Safety and Survival Section. Additionally, Chief Schabel received the IAFC Great Lakes Division President's Award in 2021. Tim retired on February 16, 2024, and remains active on several state and national fire service associations, including serving on the board of directors for the International Association of Fire Chiefs and the International Fire Chiefs Terrorism and Homeland Security Committee. Additionally, Tim is currently consulting various emergency service agencies throughout the Midwest until he decides what he wants to do for his Chapter 2. Personally, Tim is enjoying time with his wife Jennifer and daughter Jessica, spending as much time as possible on their boat on Lake Michigan. Tim has had a long and distinguished career, and it's just great that we're able to recognize his contributions to St. Joseph County, Clay Township, and the state of Indiana. Anybody want to add anything before we ask Chief
think you said it all.
Schabel? Tim, why don't you come up to the podium and let's give it up for Chief Schabel.
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute honor to serve in this county and see where the growth of this county has gone over the last 35 years. And it has been a privilege to serve the citizens of this great area. And I can tell you there's some of my colleagues in this room right now who served as fire chiefs as well. Certainly we have some police officers. And I can tell you the emergency services have never been stronger in this county than they are today. And we continue to see that go, and it's been a joy to see that. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Come on up and let's get a photograph. Commemorate. It's always a pleasure to recognize people and to do that. And going right along with that is our Employee of the Month, or I should say Employees of the Month for May. Commissioner Dieter.
Thank you. John and Bev, will you step to the podium, please? Come on. I think, Sky, don't you have the confetti shooter up or? Well, Employees of the Month, John and Bev. John started with the Platt Room in 1984. Started working with the Platt Room team, updating maps and tracking plats and making sure that all property information was correct in county records, which was probably quite a task at that time. In the late 90s, he served as the county's representative to a committee that was working to design geographic information system for the region. John ended up taking the major role in the county's GIS management, and in the early 2000s moved around the county city building, room to room, I think, until they found you a nice office on the 11th floor. He was an office of one for nearly 20 years until Bev was officially added to the GIS team. Bev joined the county officially in 2008. She started her career locally with the City of South Bend Department of Community Economic Development, working with the planning team doing research and mapping. She transitioned to the county and continued to work on planning with the zoning team with heavy focus on GIS. She was officially transferred to the GIS team and does a plethora of jobs in the county, including site contribution, social media influencer, and scanning for the IPG office. The contributions of these two members has been incredible, and they are well deserving of these awards. I would like to say that any time that I've come to ask for information, it is done like that. Anytime you've ever asked them for things, they get it done, which is, in government, usually doesn't happen. So I'm really appreciative of the work they do, especially with what we're doing, looking in the Portage Manor. Every time we've come for maps, and we now have, or at least I have, the start of photography of that starting, and I believe surveyor 1938 was taking pictures out of a biplane, so we have all that information all the way up. We found some houses that we've been looking for a long time due to the mapping. So everything that you guys have done for the commissioner's office and everybody else in the building, we really, or I appreciate, and I know everybody else does, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
We certainly do, because, you know, my background is planning, and like you, I got started in GIS years and years ago, so I've got a special appreciation for how you've brought that department, and you and Bev, you know, things like quiet zones for the railroads. Asked for a map, and as Commissioner Dieter said, half an hour later, there was the map. So many departments that you touch and needs that you fulfill. People don't realize how much the GIS department really does. Commissioner Hazen, anything to add?
Good job. Heard nothing but good outside the building, too. People that get on the GIS say it works really
Yeah.
good, and they do a good job. Thank you.
And we'd like fellow employees, people that work with them, step up to the microphone and say something. Anyone? I think they really appreciate all the hard work y'all
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Let's get a photograph, and if any,
All right.
wait a minute. Their door is always open.
He raises his hand for me. Al Curtis.
You can't walk up to the podium and speak in the microphone so we can have it on record? Come on, Lopez.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Commissioners. Jim raised his hand so I could come up here and speak. Al Curtis, EMA Director. We want to thank them. They help us a lot. Part of our job is planning, preparation, maps. We need them integrated different ways for emergency routes out of the city or the county that we have to have. Designated plumes if there's a release, radioactive release from the nuclear plant in Michigan, and a whole lot of other things. We go to GIS, tell them what we need, they get it done. I don't do Facebook, Jimmy doesn't do it much. Bev helps us on all that stuff there. So we want to thank them. They've been an integral part of us getting our agency together, and thank you very much.
Jim Lopez, EMA, the door is always open. One of the things that they do for us, the state requires a lot of mapping and a lot of information about where public safety buildings are, where drop-offs are if we had a disaster. And they don't want to see it on paper, they want to see maps. So every time we do need something, we ask them for help, and as you said, it's not there tomorrow, it's there today. Again, without them, it would make our job very difficult. Thank you both. Great job.
Thank you.
Come on up and get a photograph.
My favorite thing.
Water for Crystal. Move pictures since y'all want to talk.
Come on, Steve.
Bobby, we don't have enough room.
All right, ready? 1, 2. Perfect. Thank you.
Take it back up to your offices. We got. Oh, you need a map?
Hope nothing happens on the road.
I know. Okay, sounds good. Thanks for coming. Surveyor.
Commissioner, you're going to say something about the settlement agreement?
I can.
Next item on the agenda is a settlement agreement and release. Mr. Mish.
This was another claim that was made against the county. I believe Commissioner Hazen was very informed on what went on. Outside counsel demanded an astronomical number. This was resolved for a very, very reasonable number, significantly below what was being sought. At this point, it's not worth the cost of defense, much less any potential liability. So we bring this to you today for your consideration and request your approval of the settlement.
Anything you want to add?
Nope.
I want to thank you. I've been going to these, and you filled in, and you got I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
With that, do we have a motion to approve the settlement agreement and release?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Hazen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on to IPG, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Hazen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item is the bid award, RNS 92403D, resurfacing and rehabilitation of various roads.
Good morning, Sky Meadows, Department of Infrastructure Planning and Growth, office on the 7th, 11th floor. What this is for resurfacing and rehab of roads out in the IEC area around where the construction is taking place. We got several roads out there that is going to be getting a lot of traffic and is getting a lot of traffic, and those roads were more or less just chip seal roads and not really built for the traffic they're going to be getting. So we put out this bid to try and get these resurfaced so that it's safer for the traveling public. And we received 2 bids, and Reith Riley was the low bid of $1,737,816. They were low by about a little less than $100,000, a little more than $100,000. And this is actually the best pricing that we've gotten on paving since 2020. So it's good to see that these numbers are starting to go down. Be very helpful to us, but we've reviewed this and recommend your approval, and if there are any questions, be happy to answer them.
About how many miles or yards will it be?
This will get about 7 miles.
Okay.
Yeah. Not a lot in the big scheme of things, but it's more than what we have been getting out of this amount of money, so.
And once that's done and all the buildings are up there, do you vision having to redo that later on down the road?
Yeah, later on down the road,
No pun intended.
we'll have to definitely do some either repaving or also look at possibly widening some of these roads, depending on how much traffic gets drawn to the area. When that happens, we're, hoping that with these developments, there'll be some help with that.
So the monies that's one of the good advantages of a TIF district will go to help keep those roads up.
Yes, we'll have more opportunity for funding to do stuff in that area.
Right, for those opposed to TIF, you may be
so-
listening or in the audience, so, thank you.
I appreciate that comment.
Spot on.
Any other questions or comments?
I don't know if you know the answer or not. Is it slowing down for the companies? Are they getting more aggressive? Or is it the material itself?
I think it's, they're getting more aggressive. I think it's maybe a little bit of both, the materials a little bit, but these two companies were very aggressive going after these bids. I think that I know one of the companies has recently installed some more silos, and I think that's increased the competition in the area. So I think that's a big factor, is the competition. But the prices of the materials themselves have gone down somewhat.
Thank you.
There being no other questions or comments, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Hazen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, approval of amendment for the CE Services Agreement for Douglas Road Reconstruction Project.
What this is there's a stipulation in the contracts that we have on LPA projects that if a project goes over a year, calendar year and so forth, consultants can submit, that they can increase their rates per the ECI rates. That's a federal thing, because their rates go up, whereas the contract may have been set, a year or so ago. And what this is changing those rates per the ECI, per the agreement. There's no dollar change in the contract. It's just changing of those rates. We've reviewed this, and this is a typical thing that happens on projects that span more than a year with hourly rates. And we've reviewed it, and it's acceptable, and recommend your approval.
Do you have a question?
The whole project, did St. Joe County pay for all that, or did state throw some money?
No. This project ended up being, I can't remember the total, but I'll just say close to 10 to 11 million, and we only paid 20%. The 80% of that was federal money.
Because the state's involvement, if you've driven up there, it's got every 300 yards for oils or for spills costs. Is that the state mandated?
That's
Mainly because of Judy Creek.
Okay.
Yeah, since Judy Creek's in the area, those signs get put up.
As far as the funding goes, this is similar to the part of Douglas Road by Notre Dame going to Grape Road.
Right, yes.
This is just further part of this project.
Right, exactly, yeah.
And it's good that they kept the young lady who was killed a long time ago, the sign up there on the north side of the road, if you didn't pay attention. And if that road was like today, she wouldn't have been killed.
Pardon me, I'm sorry, Derek.
If the roads were like they are now, that young lady wouldn't have been walking. You don't have to comment now.
Right, okay.
So, that's good.
Any other questions or comments? If not, do we have a motion to approve the services agreement?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Hazen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sky Vetters.
Next is the Health Department, request for approval of proposed renovations to the Mishawaka office.
Hello, I'm Mike Rubel, the Director of Operations for the Department of Health, and we are requesting a bid to be accepted for renovations to the Mishawaka branch of the Department of Health. We received two bids, one from Ancon Construction, one from Zilakowski Construction. The renovation work will allow us to take the nursing clinic and the registration area to give them both more space, to allow them to be a bit more efficient and to work together a bit more cohesively. We also believe customer service will be increased by allowing the registrar to service both of those areas. And the area, part of the renovation will also include taking the vaccination freezers and refrigerators from where they're currently located and relocating them. That will do two things. The first that it will do is allow the vaccination area to have more clinical area for persons that are coming for vaccinations. We are also, part of the bid will also request some rewiring work to be done to allow the freezers and the refrigerators to be placed on their own circuit. They'll also have access to power backup in the event of a power failure. At this time, we asked to accept the Ancon construction bid. They are able to complete the work in a timeframe that we would like to have happen. We did try to get a timeframe from, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing their name, Zilikowski Construction, but we did not get a response from them despite a couple of attempts made to get that information from them.
What's the amount of those what's the amount of those?
Ancon is $9,300. Zilikowski was $8,070.
So we are not taking the low quote, but because of the time frame, we are going to move ahead with. we're
Correct.
Asking to move ahead
Correct.
with Ancon.
We just have not gotten a response back regarding a time frame.
Any other questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
Make a motion that we give the health department the approval, or to approve Ancon Construction to do the remodel in Mishawaka Department for $9,300.
Repeat that, Tony? I'll second.
Commissioner Hazen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next is support of the Health First St. Joseph County grant through the Department of Health for Purdue University.
Jenna Rose, Department of Health, offices on the 8th and 9th floor. We're asking for commissioner support for another Health First grant awardee, Purdue Extension. Purdue Extension wants to reach 100 students at Coquillard Elementary with their junior master gardening program.
Is this a one-year grant, 5?
It's until the end of 2024.
And this is out of the Health First Indiana, which we've approved quite a few
Yes.
agreements. Commissioner Hazen, anything to add? If not, do we have a motion to approve the Health First Indiana County grant?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Hazen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank
Motion
you.
carries.
Thanks, John. Last item on the agenda is from the recorder. It's a Laredo agreement for online access. We've had several of these, and we have another request. Do we have a motion to approve the Laredo agreement for the recorder?
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Hazen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And finally, we will move to public comment. Anybody in the audience wish to make a comment or is signed up?
We only have one. It's Susan Baxmeyer, and I'd like to remind her she's only allowed to talk about her husband in a positive manner for 3 minutes.
Come on up. Appreciate having my wife and our good friends, Chris and Alicia, in the audience today. There being no other business, is anybody online who signed up?
Nope.
With that, I will entertain a motion to recess.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Hazen, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Dieter, how do you vote? Commissioner Baxmeyer, how do you vote?
Aye.
We're recessed.
Thank you, everybody.